Once upon a time, there was a pelican named Larry. Larry lived a life like any other pelican. He lived with a big family, he went to school, and he loved sushi. When Larry was around 5 years old, that's around 16 in human years, he decided he didn't want to be a normal pelican. He wanted to stand out in a crowd. When he told this to his family, they thought he was mentally insane because the pelican family were all introverts, and standing out in a crowd is an introvert's biggest nightmare. Larry was mad at his family for not supporting his dreams, so he ran away. The Pelican family lived in Canada. The only way Larry thought he could really stand out in a crowd is by moving to a place that is the opposite of Canada. Larry wanted to move to Mexico. Canada was always cold, and Mexico was always warm, or so he thought. Larry packed up all he had in a little sack and was off. He tried to hitchhike, but all the cars just ignored him. He tried to buy a bus ticket, but he couldn't afford it. Then all of a sudden, he remembered that he had wings. After many days of flying, he finally made it to Mexico. He loved it there. It was all so great, like a dream come true. Everywhere he went, people stared at him with awe. Larry thought this place was perfect. But there was one problem. He didn't have any way to get food. There was no place for a pelican to work. One day in despair, Larry walked into a football or soccer stadium. He sat down to watch the game, and all of a sudden, all of his sadness was lifted off of his shoulders. He fell in love with the game of soccer. He found himself cheering as loud as he could. He had a new dream now. He wanted to play soccer. After the game, Larry went down to the field to talk to the coach of the soccer team. "Sir," Larry said, "I would like to join the team." "Have you ever played before?" the coach asked him. "Sadly, no. I am from Canada, so I was trained in hockey. I am a good hockey goalie, though," Larry told the coach. "Okay, I will let you try out for the team," the coach said. Larry was so excited, he ran onto the field. His knees were shaking because he was so excited. As he stepped into the goalie box, he felt like he was in a dream, the best dream of his life. The first ball was kicked to Larry. Larry dove at the ball with all of his might and stopped the ball. He was so happy. The second ball was kicked, then the third, then the fourth. He stopped all of them. After about 20 minutes of stopping the balls, the coach called Larry aside. "Larry, you are a very good player. How would you like to be on our team?" the coach asked. Larry was so happy he couldn't talk. All he could do was nod his head. "Great," the coach said. "We are having a game tomorrow, and you will be starting." The next day, Larry put on his jersey and stepped into the goalie's box, and the game started. Larry was so happy until the other team kicked the ball into the goal. Larry had tried to block it, but he could not get to it in time. He was so ashamed. Then a second ball was kicked into the goal, then a third. Larry missed them all. Eventually the coach called a timeout. "I'm sorry, coach. I just can't do it. I just can't do it," Larry said with tears in his eyes. "Larry, look at me," the coach said. "Larry, don't say you can't, because you can. Now get out there and do what you're good at." Larry jumped up and ran onto the field. From that point on, whenever a ball was kicked into the goal, Larry always stopped it. His team went on to win the World Cup, and Larry became a national hero. From his example, his family in Canada started their own soccer team too, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.